Another edition this week of First Person on PressProsMagazine.com, as always sponsored by the Rioch Farm Drainage Company in Fort Laramie. 81 years of experience with farm, residential, and commercial. They'll make water work for you. Call Phil Barhorst. We talk about them all the time. And they make our interviews here on First Person possible. From Anna, Ohio this week on the threshold of the 2014 football season. Summer camp starts next week, commonly known as two-a-days, and Brian Rioch, the head coach of the Rioch, joins us. And first of all, this is a busy time for you. You're a busy guy, and I appreciate your time, because to sit down and talk with us is not easy for a lot of you guys. You got a lot going on, don't you?
Right. Well, fortunately, I'm not very smart. I'm not very complicated. I don't have a lot of hobbies, so I'm either here or I'm at school or I'm at church. So that's basically it.
Brian, I want to talk a little bit about the irony of the Rocket program now in its 16th, 17th year, and how it got started. You guys are members of two different leagues. You play football in the Midwest Athletic Conference. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But you're also charter members, long time standing, in the Shelby County League with the other sports. So tell us a little bit about how football got its genesis here at Anna.
We started in 1998. Actually, before I got here, there was a kind of a push among some of the community members, and we got a new superintendent, John Granger, who had been a former football coach at Salina. So the group of men that wanted to get it started kind of brought it to John Granger's attention, and he kind of got the ball rolling. I got hired in February of '98 and started interviewing potential vendors at that point. Started in 2001, we were in the CCC, and then in 2006 we joined the MAC.
One of the other ironies about the Anna program is you as head coach, and you've been here now a long time, double-digit years, as the head coach of the Rockets, and yet never played college football. Talk about your own football background, how you got the interest and how you got the bug to be a head coach.
I had really good high school football coaches. I played high school football coaching in a couple different places. Started out in Lewis County, West Virginia. Joe Walker was my first head football coach, and then I was connected with a couple other guys, Coach Keltner and Coach Catterhenry. Coach Catterhenry played for Woody Hayes back in the 50s, 59, and Paul Keltner was his father-in-law. And they moved to Ohio, and our family kind of moved with them, and I played my senior year at Alexander High School. And those guys were a pretty big influence on me in terms of seeing what football can give a young man outside of the lines, teaching them how to do things the right way in the classroom. And it was something that I had a lot of success in, and I knew I wanted to become a teacher at an early age. So basically since my freshman year, this is kind of what I wanted to do.
Interesting, the fact that you with Anna are in a league that is known statewide as being, if not the best, certainly in the top 4 or 5 best football leagues in the year, and the challenge of coming in here with a new program in 2005, or a relatively new program, and butting heads with the likes of St. Henry and Marion Local and Coldwater and Versailles like that, and yet you guys have been very competitive and become very well respected in this league, which is a great testament not only to your staff, but especially your kids.
Well, it was just a good fit. The CCC was real good to us. I mean, when we were in our fledgling stages of football, it worked out really well in terms of the level of competition and being able to bring the program along. But at some point in time, we got too big. For example, this year we got 88 kids. We'll play a full freshman schedule and a full JV schedule, and a lot of the schools in the CCC didn't have that. So when the MAC invited us, it worked out really well in terms of the numbers issue. And you're right. You hedged a little bit about saying that it might be one of the best. It's the best. There's about 30 state titles.
I only hedge because I'll hear from it.
Well, I understand. I don't bear that burden of political correctness. So it's the best league in the state by a lot in terms of, you just count state titles, and you look at the schools, and the coaching is phenomenal. If you're not on your game, you're not sharp, and you're not putting your time in, Tim Goodwin's going to make you look stupid, and Chip Otten's going to make you look stupid, and Todd Schiller's going to make you look stupid. So you need to be prepared and you need to be ready to go.
From the standpoint of preparing your kids, kids being kids, from the competitive edge, you can't get anywhere in this league without, as I said a moment ago, butting heads continually with what seems to be a perennial state champion. Back-to-back at Coldwater with the Cavaliers, back-to-back-to-back presently with Marion Local. St. Henry has won 6 times. In modern football, Versailles has won 6 titles. I don't know how many Todd Schulte has won at Delphus, but certainly near 6. that's quite a gauntlet to prepare your kids for and get them over that competitive hump, saying this is what you got to go through to be successful.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we got into the league. We were in the league, before we were in the league, we were getting into the playoffs and not being able to compete once we were in there. The speed of the game was just too fast at that point. I think a lot of teams that play MAC schools in the playoffs find that out. It takes them at least a half to get adjusted. So we felt that if we would get into the MAC, that it might be hard to get into the playoffs, but once we got in, we were as good as anybody. We had a shot to win it all. And ultimately, that's our goal, is to win a state championship.
We're talking with Brian Rioch, the head football coach of the Anna Rockets, and by trade, you're a math teacher, and we've talked about this over the years a little bit. It seems to me that some of the better football coaches around the state, you mentioned Tim Goodwin, who is a math teacher, or was a math teacher before he got into administration. Talk a little bit about the corollaries and maybe the parallels between teaching math and teaching football, and how one feeds from the other and benefits from the other.
Well, yeah, like I said, I'm a numbers guy, and we do a lot with the advent of Huddle. We do a lot with generating reports and looking at statistics and different relationships, and all those numbers are nice. I think you can get paralyzed with too many numbers. You get too many different reports. You can look at too many different things.
I think they call that paralysis by analysis.
Right.
Yeah.
But we, we'll spend a lot of time looking at the numbers and trying to get advantages not only from statistics, but formations and so on and so forth. But yeah, being organized, making sure that your practice plan is ready to go, making sure that your game plan is ready to go.
Yeah.
We do a lot of things with statistics and mathematics.
Let's talk about the subject at hand, and that being the 2014 Anna Rockets. I spent the last month touring around the Midwest Athletic Conference, and everybody has respect for Coldwater, everybody has respect for Marion as defending state champions, but the next word out of their mouth is you better be ready for Anna. Lots of kids, lots of talented kids, a program on the rise. Let's talk a little bit about your 2014 prospects.
We've got a really good senior class. We have 24 seniors, which obviously that's pretty big. 5 of those seniors, I think 6 maybe, have started since they were sophomores. So a little baptism by fire. In the last 3 years, we've been, quite honestly, mediocre at best. We're 6-4, 5-5, 4-6, which doesn't sit all right with us. My defense coordinator said best the other day, goes, I'm tired of being average. And I think that class is the same way. They're tired of just hanging around, be good enough to be in the games but not winning them. So they put a lot of hard work into this offseason. And we've got some players, we've got some talent. Christian Williams is our all-time leading rusher, and he's still got a year to go, and he missed half of last year with an injury. Wes Showalters, our middle linebacker, has been starting middle linebacker for 2 years now, going on 3. And he's a physical specimen at 6'4", 225, so we think we're going to be pretty solid on defense. And then we've got our first Division I college football player in Chandler Codman. He verbally committed to Toledo, and he's a kid that I mandate he's not allowed to be anywhere around me or near me when he's moving. He's not allowed to touch me. He's just a big 6'5", 270, and he moves really well, and he's got a mean streak. So, we think with those guys and many others, we got a chance to be pretty good.
And you have another thing too. I've been to enough Anna games over the last 4 or 5 years where I see some of your early players who are still connected with this program who come back. I'm sure they have an influence. They are encouraging. They're certainly supportive of the kids you have playing presently and your coaching staff. It's good to have that legacy around and available when you need them, isn't it? To have those kids.
It's a lot of fun. We just had our annual booster golf outing.
Right.
And I'll bet there were 20, 25 former players there. It was just neat to catch up with those kids and see what they're doing. Some of the kids are still in college. Some of those kids got families. I have a lot of pride in the kids that go on in the armed forces and serve our country there. So that's the biggest part, is what kind of impact I can have on those kids, at least in a positive way, to make them better men, make them better fathers, husbands, and friends once they graduate from the program.
You've arrived when you begin to have a football legacy in the community, and you're sure getting one.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've been blessed.
All right. Brian Rioch, the head coach of the Anna Rockets, thank you again for your time. We wish you the best of luck, but more importantly, you need to stay healthy. We hope you do so.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Sure do. That wraps up another edition this week of First Person, again sponsored by the Ruin Camp Farm Drainage Company in Fort Loramie. 80 years of experience, farm, residential, and commercial. If you got water issues, they'll make water work for you. Until next time, thanks again for your support of high school sports here on Press Pros. We'll see you next time with another edition.